If you want to pump your body and expand your mind, there's only one place to go. Mind Pump. Mind Pump with your hosts, Sal DiStefano, Adam Schaefer, and Justin Andrews.
In this super awesome episode of the Mind Pump.
Everything is awesome.
Oh, it's so great. Look, for the first 40 minutes, we do our introductory conversation, so we don't talk a whole lot about fitness, but we do have a lot of fun. We start out by talking about Adam's awesome dream. Find out who he has a crush on and how he expressed it in his nocturnal emission nighttime
me feel
dream.
a little weird.
Then I talked about my new Food Saver vacuum sealer purchase. I went to the store the other day, bought it, learning how to use this because I'm trying to make all these meals throughout the whole week, and I got a whole shipment of Butcher Box coming in, and I'm going to use their ground beef to do this. So I'm going to put them in the vacuum seal them out, and portion them out. By the way, right now, if you go to butcherbox.com/mindpump, you will get 2 pounds of ground beef.
2 pounds, Sal.
For life, forever, and $20 off your first order. Then Adam went on an entire CBD rant. They're sprinkling CBD on everything, trying to make it effective. Most of these products don't even contain any real CBD. That's the problem. Now, our company of choice, if you want to use a hemp oil that contains
real deal,
that contains cannabinoids, we recommend you go to Ned. Now, if you go to helloned.com/mindpump, we got something for you. You'll get hooked up. Then we talked about Justin's baseball coaching and why his arm is so sore. You haven't thrown baseball around.
I'm a little embarrassed by it.
In a hole. He's also talking about giving the kids a healthy snack. I recommended skinny dipped almonds. Now, I have one of their small packets here. Let me read these macros. Remember, these are almonds that are lightly dipped in amazing chocolate. Here's the macros. 230 calories for one of these packs. It's about 1.5 ounces. 18 grams of healthy fat. 16 grams of carbohydrates. Only 9 grams of sugar for the whole thing, and 7 grams of protein. This is a much better snack than the Twinkies that they tend to give kids.
Way better. Yeah, that or all those popsicles and shit.
Then we talked about how Mind Pump has been getting people laid now for a while. That's right. We are your wingman. Adam gives us a swimming update. Is he going to beat Ben Greenfield? I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then we talked about Lane's hit list and why we think some people should not be on there. Then we get into the fitness portion of this episode. The first question was, if I have upper cross syndrome, so if my shoulders roll forward, I got bad posture, should I train my chest or should I avoid training my chest because they think it'll make their posture worse? The answer may surprise you. The next question, what are our favorite pieces of bro science advice? Bro science, of course, refers to pseudoscience claims that you hear from a lot of bodybuilders. That's where they get the term.
Derogatory term.
Bro science. But is there some truth in some of the bro science? What are our favorite types of bro science? The next question, what do we think about the product Sweet Sweat? And what do we think about other thermogenic body creams? These are creams you rub on your body, and then it makes that part of your body sweat more. Is it doing anything for you, or is it just crap?
Yeah, crap.
And the final question, Justin, Adam, and myself are stuck in a Hunger Games scenario, a fight to the death.
I'm the Mockingjay.
Who wins, who loses, and who eats the dead bodies? Find out in that part of this episode. Also, you have 48 hours left for our 50% off MAPS Performance sale. Now, MAPS Performance is the MAPS program that we designed for people who want to look and move like athletes. So you work on full spectrum athletic performance. You're going to get stronger. You're going to get more agility. You're going to get more explosive power, and you're going to build endurance. So all those aspects of athletic performance are targeted with MAPS Performance. It's half off, though, and you only got 2 days left, so make sure you act now. Go to mapsfitnessproducts.com. Use the code GREEN50 for the 50% off. That's GREEN 50, no space. Again, 48 hours left. It's closeout. Go check it out.
T-shirt time!
And it's T-shirt time.
Oh, shit. It's my favorite time of the week.
We only got 20 reviews between both platforms, iTunes and Facebook.
Okay.
That's not enough, dog.
Not enough. The winners are, for iTunes, we got Lexi Lou 72, Jer Bear All Day 7. For Facebook, Cody Littleton and Chaz Woodyard. All of you are winners. Send the name I just read to iTunes at mindpumpmedia.com. Send your shirt size, your shipping address, your Instagram handle, and we'll get that right out to you.
Have you guys used the fucking slingshot yet?
Yeah, no, I'm all the way to
Yeah.
I love it.
I use it all the time. I love
Dude,
it.
I fucking love it.
for the chest.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's actually
fucking
helped
love
me
it.
get back into bench.
It's just like when I would use bands. It's got that same feel to it where it gives you where you need the boost, but so you can overload your body the way your body strength curve is.
Yeah.
I did it yesterday. I was doing singles with what was I doing 300,
Mm-hmm.
and I just put the thing on and just slow and then.
Oh, dude, totally helps you acclimate to heavy weights.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rad.
I liked it.
I've been using it like crazy.
Have you?
Uh-huh.
Hard to get on my arms though.
I know. I had to go to the XL.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
See, I got to get the XL.
Yeah, the large wasn't working for me.
It seems like it'd be weird and uncomfortable. It doesn't.
It makes you
have
sit
to
like
slide
this,
all the way over your biceps.
and then when you get in the bar, you have to like separate your arms to grab the bar.
it is. It's strange.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You're
it.
kind of like a Frankenstein.
But it feels tight.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember? Well, every time you like every morning when you wake up, do you remember your dreams or do you not remember them more often than not?
It depends on if I
I forget them.
It depends how I wake up. But if I wake up and then go back to sleep, sometimes I'll remember them when I wake up again.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
in the morning time.
Yeah. What happened? Did you have a bad dream?
No, I actually had a really weird. I never remember dreams. It's rare that I.
Wait, have you gone off cannabis?
No, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
All right,
I'm having cannabis right now.
Okay.
No, it's happening.
No, but I just for some reason I just rarely ever remember dreams at all. But I had this weird fucking
Oh, I had a weird dream too.
Deion Sanders dream.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know why I was.
Well, that's the guy that you used to have.
Dion.
Yeah, I used to have a crush on him.
Well, it's funny you say that because that was what the weird part of the dream was. So I had this dream that I was in the locker room and I couldn't tell if it was football or baseball or what we were doing, but I was talking to him. I was like interviewing him. So it was like I was interviewing him, but I was like a reporter. It was really weird. And I actually got really close to him when I was interviewing him and I bumped him with my dick.
Whoa.
And it was
hold on a second.
well. This is the weird part, right?
Well, what do you
Little
mean?
dick bump?
What's the weird part? The dick bump?
No,
Or it gets weirder?
it gets weirder. So of course,
Like,
I'm
like a little brush by.
now. What makes me super embarrassed is that I have a hard on.
Whoa.
Now,
Now that's different.
well, now let me explain why.
I'll break this dream down for you after you're done. I think I understand what's going on here.
no. It was a very, very short one, and instantly I
wow,
wake
a short
up,
one.
and when I wake up, it's one of those dreams that it felt so vivid and real that it takes me a moment to realize that it wasn't real because I wake up with a massive hard on because I have to pee so bad. So it was one of those things where
Something in real life is causing you to dream.
Yes.
Like your desire to have sex with a man.
No,
Right.
no.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
I had to go.
He is prime time.
No, I had to pee really bad.
Yeah.
And so I had this uncomfortable hard on and I had it in this interview. I'm talking to him and I remember being aware of it in the interview in the dream and somehow it grazed him and he got awkward, I got awkward. It was and then I wake up abruptly and then
So I think what happens sometimes in dreams is that you'll have two
And
thoughts.
then it was on ESPN, the 30 for 30.
it was
You're like,
weird.
Weird.
Top 10.
There's
Da-na-na.
two thoughts will get combined in a dream, and your brain tries to make sense of it. It's typically what tends to happen. So
don't try and science.
you
my
were
dream.
probably dreaming. You were having a dream that you're interviewing him. We've been talking a lot about getting better with interviews. Deion Sanders, who knows why you dreamed of him? He is a handsome man. I'm looking at his picture right now, so maybe that's why.
I don't know. I watched this 30 for 30. It's interesting you bring him up because, like, we always talk about Bo Jackson, but then you go back and you realize what Deion Sanders did in his career was insane. It was insane. He was playing two sports at the same time. He's the only one that actually played them in season at the same time.
Yeah, he got on a plane and flew over to the next. Yeah,
and pissed off all the baseball people because he played football at the same time.
So did you have clothes on when you hit him with your?
Yes, dude. It was all the rest of the dream was.
So you got that close to him where you're like, poof.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Little bam.
I don't even remember like visually seeing it. I
felt it.
Yeah, I felt it, and then there was this awkward moment.
Now, what part of his body did you touch?
His thigh.
So it was you hit him right in the thigh?
Yeah.
Upper or lower thigh?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I've had one of those
Wasn't that clear of a dream?
with this good friend of ours, this girl, and then so you see in real life, you see them. I'm imagining it'd be really awkward if you see Deion now. Yeah.
I feel like you were
ran
going
into
to tell
him.
us something
Because-
about a dream and you took it back.
Yeah, I did.
It wouldn't be. Yeah.
So you had a dream that you had sex with a girl that you know.
No, like it was an inappropriate thing. Like I walked in on her changing, she was naked, and then I was just like, oh, hey. And then I saw her in real life and like gave her a hug, and I felt like ashamed.
That you saw her in real life? I mean, in your dream? That
Yeah.
she was naked?
And I couldn't look at her the same.
Oh, I bet.
Stupid.
You just reminded me now. I had a weird dream last night too. It wasn't nearly as weird as yours, but my dream, I was trying to get away from the Mexican drug cartel.
What?
I don't know.
Wow.
They were after me, and I had and I was trying to find a gun to fight back, and the whole dream I'm hiding out and firing back when they find me, and then I woke up. How weird is that?
Did you break it down?
No, that's it, dude. I was just fucking, I think I was like
Let you borrow
Where
the
are you
dream
running
book.
from?
I don't know. I was probably just a superhero again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fighting crimes.
Yeah,
I think
normal stuff.
I think sometimes we just overthink the shit stuff because I'm pretty sure that we were just talking about interviews. I know we have Ricky Williams on the calendar.
Yeah, and you had already a physical hard on from having to pee, and your
Right.
brain just
Yeah.
inserted it into the dream.
right.
No pun intended.
Yeah, and then instantly, it was such a short dream. I wake up right away, and then the thing that got me that I thought was hilarious was that because my body felt that in the dream, that when I came out of the dream, I still felt that urge to have to pee so
Yeah.
bad that I had a hard on.
Yeah.
That it made me have the moment of like, did I just bump Deion Sanders with my dick?
I hate those. Have to be the word like the pee hard-ons. Those are terrible in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's the weirdest place? Sorry, Doug. We're gonna go here.
Yeah, we are. Gonna
Where's
do
the
that. I have another
weirdest
story, so.
place you've gotten an erection?
As an adult,
I don't
told
care.
you guys it was
Anytime.
at a funeral. It was. I told this already. I swear I've told this. I was at a funeral and I was like, it didn't make any sense because I was obviously sad. It was like somebody I knew.
Who died?
I think it was. I don't even remember. It was somebody's mom or something like.
Terrible.
Yeah, like it was horrible, right? And I'm just sitting there and like just kind of to myself and then you get that little like.
Oh, and then you think about it.
Like the ting, I'm like, huh? Like what?
Spider sense.
And then I just like crossed my. I didn't know what to do. Like I just
How
had
old
to
were
stay
you?
there. I was probably, dude. That's the thing. I was like 19 or 20 or
Yeah.
so.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I was
you were
like
an adult.
raging. Yeah,
Oh,
it was raging.
that's terrible.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Yeah, I had. I'll never forget this. It used to happen to me. It happened to me more than once. When I used to go to work with my dad, his work van vibrated. So it's bzzz, as you're driving, and it was in the morning when you wake up, and I'd sitting there with my dad driving. I'm in there. I'm like, what the fuck? This is terrible. Very confusing.
Yeah, I've had a lot of church boners too. I'll be honest.
Well, that's
what?
Yeah, but come on, we're there like forever. I'm sitting there
That's
like
it.
drawing and trying to like pass the time.
That's because your mind wanders.
Yeah, and
That's
then
what-
like
especially
all of a
as
sudden I'm
young
like,
boy.
and then we have to stand up and sing, and that's a problem.
Oh yeah.
Well, I thought I'd share that one with you guys. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah,
I
I
never
appreciate
remember my dreams, and the fact that I remember that one, I had to share it because
That
it
was this
so-
weekend.
That was literally yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was weird.
Dude, I went to. Have you guys ever used those vacuum sealer machines?
Food saver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys use those?
Yeah, absolutely.
haven't.
So how do you have one too, Justin?
No, I haven't.
How do you use yours, Adam? Do you use it still?
What do you mean? How do I use it?
Like, how do you? Because I just got one.
They're really
Okay.
simple. They come on a roll. You slice them. You seal one side of them. Then you put the food in it. And then you seal the other side, and it sucks the air out when you
Now,
do that.
yeah, but what do you use it for? Just when you buy food in bulk to separate it out, type of deal?
I originally started using it for marijuana.
Oh, okay. Keeps it fresh.
Yeah. So when we would harvest, we were harvesting over 100 pounds of marijuana, and obviously I can't possibly smoke or even distribute 100 pounds of marijuana overnight. So
Not to say you haven't tried. You
Yeah,
just
that
can't.
would be impressive.
You never succeeded.
So yeah, we used to vacuum. Wait till it's cured and perfect, right where you'd want it, and then we'd vacuum seal it and stack them in store.
What about for food? Do you use it for food?
Yeah,
now?
no, I use them for food too. And we would Katrina makes, we make the chili in big bulk. So some of the dishes that we make in bulk, we would do that. But
so chili, even with the liquid and everything?
Sure.
So you put it in the bag, you vacuum seal it. Do you freeze it or
Yeah.
put it in the fridge?
Freeze it.
And then when you want it, you defrost it. And then what do? Cut it out of the bag and just warm it up? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do because we get our big butcher box shipment in, and the ground beef and ground comes in the like 1 pound.
Did
pack
you
or
hear
whatever.
what they're doing this month?
Yeah.
They're giving 2 pounds of. So they're
for life.
Yeah.
ground
yeah.
beef for life.
2 pounds of it.
forever.
It's
Plus
like
the
the
$20
bacon thing they were doing, but now ground beef.
Yeah.
2 pounds, that's substantial.
Dude,
I love this company.
They run crazy promotions. So basically, you sign up, you get your $20 off, and then forever, as long as you're a member, ground beef, 2 pounds.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was going to do is
Taco
because
Tuesday.
I'm going to start prepping my food like crazy, and I'll make the ground beef or whatever, and I don't want it to go bad, especially if I use half a package or whatever. So then I'll just vacuum seal it, put it in the fridge. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my meals portioned out, and I'm going to vacuum seal them after they're done. They're cooked and everything, and I'm going to vacuum seal them. So I'll have like 20 meals in the freezer, and then when I want one, I'll take it out, defrost it, and then I could just warm it up in the microwave. Just to portion everything out.
Now, do you know how much better that is than just flat out putting it in Tupperware and freezing it is? Because I know that you pull all the air out, so that's.
Here's why.
Like, how much more beneficial is that than just throwing it?
It lasts way longer. I did I looked. I don't remember exactly how much, but it does last longer. But the other reason why I want to do it is the space that it takes up in the freezer.
Right.
Because you stack Tupperware but if I can put a shit ton of meals because they're flat, right?
No,
It
agreed.
sucks everything out. So
I guess that makes sense. I just know I've heard that it preserves it longer, but I don't know how much longer. Is it like double the time?
maybe Doug knows. Doug's gonna look it up.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what a difference, because I would assume that once it freezes, it's being preserved, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. It's just that instead
But like
of
the difference between freezing it without the air sucked out versus the
right,
difference with the air
like
sucked
is it
out.
like game changer difference, or is it like, oh, it's nice to have? But
I'm terrible with leftovers, dude.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You don't eat them?
Forever. Yeah, my mom ruined me for leftovers because it's just like everything is like microwaved all the time. I just want it to see it being made. I don't know. I have this weird psychological barrier to
I've got a 2-day rule, dude. I can't go beyond 2.
Really?
Yeah, and Katrina hates that because I'm such a pain.
Courtney
in the-
hates me for that too.
Right, because she'll prep. Sometimes she'll prep a bunch of meals, and if I'm not staying consistent with eating them, like let's say I had a day where I just ate out all day, that now puts us behind those meals, and then I won't eat them.
I've eaten bad food. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
like, and there was always like this justification. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It like goes past the expiration date, like the milk, everything else. Like I've drinking bad milk and.
Has it been bad or
ruined me.
just? Oh, really? It was. Bad.
Oh yeah, no, I chugged it without even thinking, and
Oh.
then from now on, I always smell it. Yeah.
Well,
it's
so vacuum sealed foods will last in the refrigerator. So forget the freezer for 1 to 2 weeks, which is longer than the 1 to 3 days that normal food. That's
Wow.
actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Because you don't even have to freeze it; it'll last a week. If you put it in the freezer, 2 to 3 years,
Wow.
which normally will be 6 to 12 months.
So that is significant.
That's a big
Yeah,
deal.
you're talking
doing that for the apocalypse.
2 to 3 times more. Wow,
That's
that's
actually
cool.
good. That's a good point, Justin.
Right? I mean,
Especially
you gotta
dried
think.
foods. So like nuts, because when we put together our earthquake kit or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking about putting nuts in a
Dude,
in
we're
vacuum
due
sealing.
for one. I hate to
Stop
be
it.
the guy, but I'm always like thinking about every time I wake up. I'm like, there's gonna be another one.
Speaking of which, so in June, Jessica and I are going to a wedding in Colorado, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually go there a little bit beforehand and go to Yellowstone, which I've never been. Have you guys
Go
ever
check
been
out
to
our
Yellowstone?
super volcano. Yeah,
Have you been there?
I've been once. Yeah,
So I didn't know how big it was.
yeah, it's huge.
Apparently, you need like a week to see it because it's so fucking big.
Yeah, we only hit a few spots of it even when we went to visit, like the main geyser one. I forget what it's called, but yeah, we hit
Old
like a few
Faithful?
Old Faithful. Yeah, we hit a few of those spots just to check it out. But I mean, I love Yosemite, which is kind of it's got that
Gorgeous.
same kind of vibe. But like, yeah, I heard Yellowstone, you really have to.
Well,
plan a long time to go
Yellowstone
see.
has an
Wildlife.
incredible range of mammals from the apex predators.
The wildlife in Yellowstone, they say, is 10 times
It's
better.
insane.
The
Yeah,
shot, they say for a photographer, like Yosemite's prettier as far as like the rocks and the waterfalls and stuff, but they say that my best friend who's a photographer has gone and shot both of those like a ton of times. And he's like, Yellowstone's really cool if you want to go see like all the wildlife. Like it's beautiful for that. And
Yeah, because they have grizzly bears, moose, they have deer, wolves,
buffalo and
coyotes.
shit too, don't they?
Yeah, they have the American buffalo, which I'm excited to see. So I'm super pumped about going. I don't know where to go first there though. What to see first? I'm definitely probably going to see the geyser.
Right.
But I don't know what else to check out. Did you guys hear about the guy? It was like a year or two ago. That
fell in.
Yeah, so I guess, and you're not supposed to do this, right? But people will go to the park and they'll try and like use one of the hot springs as a jacuzzi or whatever. But some of these hot springs are so hot and they're full of acid because it's coming up from inside the earth that it's very dangerous. So I guess this dude went with his sister, some college kid, and he went to put his foot in to test out the heat or whatever, and he fell in, and the park rangers couldn't pull his body out, and then a thunderstorm came, so they had to abandon it. They went back the next day, and they found no evidence of his remains because they said that it liquefied his body. Dude, it literally dissolved his body in the fucking.
That is so morbid.
That's disgusting.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's crazy.
That's a horrible way to go.
But anyway, I'm excited about that. So, what was this thing that you wanted to bring up about CBD? You were pissed off this morning, and I said hold off and bring it up.
Well,
on the podcast.
I wasn't. I'm just annoyed, dude. It's like I remember when we first started the show. This was even before we even aired an episode. You know, we all talked about the trends that we saw or what we thought were going to happen in the next couple years, and we've shared some of those on the podcast, and CBD being one of those. And the thing that's a bummer is that Mind Pump has been pro cannabis since day one, and we've talked about all the benefits of CBD, and it's also why we partnered up with Ned, and we looked for a very long time for the right company. I remember when we went through that whole process, and I was really proud to say that we had got this company that we are working with that is not only legit, but we think it's the best in the industry and in the space. But now it's like turned into this thing where I feel like they're bastardizing it.
They're sprinkling it on everything.
Well, I'm mostly calling out my peers that are in the bodybuilding community that never even used it or even knew what the fuck it was. And now because it's like the new hot thing to sell, everybody's selling it like crazy. And even us, like I talk to people in my DMs all the time about it. Anytime I post about it, I just posted the other day with the dogs because I was using it with the dogs because we had company coming over. And it helps settle them down. Do I use it every day with them? Fuck no, that's crazy. Way too expensive to do that every single day with them. But if there's a time where I know that a baby is coming over the house and I want them to be as calm as possible and it's new smells, or if we're traveling somewhere, it works really well with them. For me, I notice on days whenever we podcast for like 5 or 6 hours and it's really hard for me, or if when we go somewhere and we have to speak, my adrenaline is going so much that it helps settle that down. I need all the help I can to try and settle down, and I'm blue blockered out. I'm taking the net. I'm doing all of that to calm down. So there's definitely applications for it that I've used, but by no means am I using it what the community is using it for, which is trying to promote the recovery side of it.
CBD CBD is today's probiotics. So you know how they started putting probiotics and everything?
Yep.
Because people are like, oh, probiotics are healthy, and then next thing you know, it's like probiotic water, probiotic, kids cereal, probiotic shampoo. And you're like, what all right, this is getting ridiculous. CBD, because of its connection to cannabis and because it's the legal cannabinoid or semi-quasi-legal, if it comes from hemp or whatever, cannabinoid, it's become this big thing. So now we're like, oh, it kind of has that stigma, therefore maybe it's going to be cool. And they're putting it on everything. CBD, I've seen it in pre-workouts. I've seen it in post-workout shakes. I've seen bodybuilders talk about it for accelerating muscle growth and fat loss and all this other stuff, and it's like, okay,
it's like
you guys are getting crazy now.
Well, we're latching on to a little bit of the science, and then we're exaggerating it. I feel like it's like, and it's so expensive. If you're getting the legit, really good stuff, you're paying a pretty high price for the dosage that you're getting. And to be promoting it like it's a great recovery tool after your workout and shit's like, that's cool. I'm not using it like that. Now, does that mean that there's not science to show that could help that stuff? Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that could help recovery and shit like that.
Right now, the most compelling science with CBD from a medicinal standpoint is its use for certain types of seizures. That's actually what it's approved for. Medicinally, there's Epidiolex is a drug that was fast-tracked and approved for certain types of epilepsy in children, and it's a fucking miracle cure in that particular context because we're talking about forms of epilepsy that had no treatment, and it's a terrible affliction. These are kids who are getting 50 seizures a day to the point where it was causing brain damage. I mean, I can't even imagine being a parent of a kid. Actually, the story behind how CBD became a medicine for that is really fascinating. It all happened because of the internet, because you had some parents who were just so desperate and through, hearing from other parents, they saw that CBD could help their kids, and they went to Colorado where the laws are looser, and they started doing this, and then it was all over the forums, And so you saw more and more parents using it, and that's what drove the science. It was that large pooling of anecdote drove the science, and then you had a pharmaceutical company that got it. The FDA awarded them, it's called a fast track, so it can get through the process faster. But that's really the biggest right now known medicinal benefit. The other stuff that's kind of speculative is, does it help with anxiety, or does it have anxiolytic properties? A lot of evidence says yes. Anti-inflammatory, yes, but not nearly as acutely anti-inflammatory as like
turmeric.
Anti-inflammatory drugs or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Actually, turmeric and curcumin, that's the active component in turmeric, actually works on the cannabinoid receptor. So they may actually have anti-inflammatory effects through a similar mechanism, which is kind of interesting. Autoimmune issues, there's some interesting science around that. But, the claims that some of these supplement makers they're just throwing it on there because it's the newest cool thing.
Right.
And here's the worst part.
Mix it in the protein powder.
It probably doesn't even have CBD. That's the worst part.
Right.
Because it's so expensive. It's like and that's the thing too. If like you're looking for the deal on a lot of these products and they have CBD in it, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt they even like put any of it in. It's so expensive.
I've been getting a lot of DMs on it too.
I think I'm just irritated by it because one, I was excited that we introduced it to our audience early on because I do think the science is fascinating. I do think it does have some applications for people. But by no means would you be seeing me push it as something that I would use every single day or, this is making a difference.
Depends on the person, but for most people, no, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, I have had people message me who say that it was a great, it would help them a lot with their anxiety. It got them to, because here's the thing with a lot of conditions, anxiety. We'll talk about anxiety for example. Sometimes the getting rid of the symptom, because there's a root, right? There's a root reason why you have anxiety. Maybe it's lifestyle, maybe it's poor health. There could be a lot of reasons why you have this kind of chronic level of anxiety. But sometimes the fear of the anxiety itself gives you anxiety, and sometimes the symptom of anxiety makes it impossible to treat the root. So what I mean by that is I'm so anxious right now that I can't even think about working with my lifestyle or changing my nutrition or getting better sleep. So sometimes I just need to treat the symptom. Okay, now I'm calm. Now I can go look and see what I can do for the root cause. And that's when treating a symptom actually helps you to treat the root. Because I know a lot of times we talk about focus on the root cause. Sometimes the symptom prevents you from that. I was having this conversation this weekend with Jessica. Her knee's bothering her. And I said, have you tried foam rolling for it? And she's like, well, the foam rolling doesn't really get rid of the root. The reason why my knee hurts is because I have poor recruitment pattern. I think it's my hip flex or whatever. And I said, yeah, I get that. But the fact that you hurt so much now, it's already creating bad patterns because of the pain.
Right.
So if the foam rolling gets rid of the pain long enough to help you correct those patterns, well, now treating the symptom helps you treat the root.
I was dealing with the same issue. My shoulder has been bothering me. And so it was at a point where I was definitely like moving my arm and my elbow and my wrist. Everything was affected because of like my shoulder was just like, it was just talking to me. And it's the sad part is it's because I haven't thrown a baseball this much and I can't even tell you how long.
Oh, because you're doing the Little League.
Yeah. I'm out there throwing like pop flies for the kids, and trying to teach them how to break on the ball, right? And all this in the outfield.
And you're not really whipping it hard. You just
it doesn't matter though, bro.
I was literally just throwing it.
I think it's 100 you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So you should
100 and stop.
You're supposed to like start like you and I, the distance we are, and you just toss, 20, back up, toss another 20, back up, toss another 20, and then do it. And
it's a movement pattern. Like
but if you go in there and you just start,
even then though, when it's that new of a movement, I haven't done that in like well over a decade. Like I haven't thrown baseballs, but yeah, it was funny because I had to relieve it. So I go home and I'm rolling out and then going through my whole mobility practices and everything. But now I'm like, I'm going to be doing this the next few days. It's pretty sad.
Where is your shoulder hurting? Is it the shoulder blade where the rotator?
Right, where the rotator, yeah. Which I've done a lot of rotational work, but this is a different thing too.
It's different because the speed at which you're throwing your hand and then the rotator, really what it's doing there is it's preventing excessive rotation. So it's actually decelerating.
Right.
And that it's like doing a negative rep when you're lifting. So
And
that's
it's
a lot of damage.
Power. So, it's that snap that it's trying to control and help, reserve my arm from ripping off my body. So,
Yeah. So that's what's happening. Shit.
So how is the practice going? How are the boys liking it? What's going on?
Oh, it's to be honest, it's really starting to kind of pick up in terms of I'm having fun with it because I'm seeing now some progress, like little things happening, like with the kids. Like I was doing just like a couple drills, and at first it's like chaos, and the kids are just trying to figure out what to do. We finally had a real field. Like before that, we were practicing on the elementary on the back half because like all the fields were just like wet and destroyed, and so we actually got to play on the field. And so I think that helped them to realize like, hey, this is this is going to be like emulating the game. And so anyways, like I was teaching them a few things and not people were picking up, but then it started to click. And then I started to see people, like some of the kids, like changing the way that they move towards the ball, the way that they approach the catch, like little cues that I would like throw out there, like they'd start to pick up on. I was like, yeah, finally, like they're starting to kind of get it. And
so that was so
cool,
fun.
man. Yeah, I enjoyed that part. The other part, though, is I'm still having a kind of a hard time like communicating amongst the other coaches because what I'm finding the issue is like they are overcoaching. Like they have so many. They went to so many clinics and so many things like about all the nuances of your wrist position for batting. And where you're loading in the back foot and like twisting
just
and rotating.
confuse the shit out of the kids.
And I'm working with these kids. It was funny because like this guy had been coaching for 28 years, like girls softball, and so and like I was in his section that I think he's like all about, and I was like working with him on the tee, and I'm going through the mechanics, and then I'm just giving them one thing to think about, like boom, and then okay, then they got that down. Okay, next thing, and then I'm having them work their way through it. And he's in there, he grabs them, he's like, mechanically like manipulating their body and like showing them this, that, and then their swing's all fucked up, And so I'm like, all right, this is your section, dude, this is all you. And I went to a different one. I'm like, I don't coach like that.
Your years of personal training experience help a lot because I feel like it takes you 5 to 10 years to learn that with clients.
Yeah.
So now it's true for anybody.
It's too much information.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to overstep my boundaries.
How many coaches are working?
There was actually, it's great because there's like 4 that volunteers, and then like so me and my friend, he's head coaching, and then so basically this guy used to coach girls softball. He's like we're both kind of like co-assisting, I guess. So
now at the end of the games, the kids get snacks. So are you gonna do anything about that? Because I remember last time you were saying, parents, because I know when my kids play sports. Parents bring snacks, and I'm just like, fuck, man. Well, it's like donuts and shit and gummy bears and just.
What's good about Little League is they have like a snack shack, so they have to go get it. The parents go get it if whatever they determine they want for their kids, like they have to go buy it. So we end up bringing we'll bring healthier snacks like there, so the kids can have it.
Dude, try the skinny dipped.
Yeah,
bring them the skinny because it's chocolate, but it's almonds,
brilliant,
and it's got great macros, and it's not a ton of sugar.
Yeah.
I bet the kids will freak out.
Yeah, exactly.
But the peanut butter ones.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet they'll love that shit.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. That's a good call.
We were talking about DMs earlier, and I just remembered I had the most hilarious DM the other day. This kid, this younger guy, DMs me, and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that Mind Pump got me laid. So I said, what? Yeah. So, and then he tells me that.
We are doing the Lord's work.
Bro, and then he tells me that he met some girl, and they started talking in the gym, and they started talking about fitness, and he brought up Mind Pump, and she was so excited that he listened to Mind Pump, and he's like, and then they got connected, and then they had sex. He's like, so you guys literally helped me.
I've told people.
I'd love to hear
that's
that.
Not the first, dude. That's not the first time. My cousin.
Yeah.
So my cousin, I don't know how this happened. He was talking. Oh, so people can see. Okay, this is what happened. So I tagged him in one of my pictures on Instagram. And a girl that follows him saw it, and she's like, "How do you know Mind Pump?" He's like, "Oh, that's my cousins or whatever, this and that and the other." So now they're going out. So there you go, second time right there. We're bringing joy,
Alex.
We're bringing joy to the world. Thanks for throwing his name out there, Justin. I was trying to keep him anonymous.
Schmalix.
Dude, did I ever tell you? That reminds me of a story. Did I ever tell you when I went to Vegas? I'll tell you. I'm not going to use his name because he'll be so mad. He'll be so mad. So one year we go to Vegas a long time ago, and we go to the club, and we're hanging out in the club. Everyone's having a great time. We're drinking. Of course, all the younger guys are trying to pick up on girls and stuff. And we walk out of the club late at night, and we're walking, and everybody pretty much, the guys pretty much struck out, right? But we're having a good time. My cousin locks eyes with some girl sitting, like she had left the club. She was sitting in one of the slot machines. So they lock eyes. They start talking with each other, and they just start making out.
Whoa.
So, yeah, right away, right? So all of us are like, holy shit, like what's going on? So they're making out, having a great time or whatever.
That's a Marcucci move.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So later on, we ask him about this girl, and he shows us, her social media, her name or whatever. And one of my other cousins recognized her name, and he goes, I think I know who she is. So he looks her up, porn star.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had made out with some porn star and was starting to talk to her. So then, of course,
good for him.
Well, hold on, there's a twist here. So then, of course, being the dickheads that
was the unique porn section.
being the dickheads that my cousins are, they're looking up what kind of stuff does she do.
Right.
She was into pegging. Do you guys know what that is?
Yes, that's where he gets strapped.
That's what
she straps on and gets him.
Oh man,
we till this day
gonna be a rough night.
Till this day, we mess with him about that. But hey, remember that time you almost got
pegged? You remember that one time?
Because he was so excited at first, and then we're like,
and rightfully so.
Yeah. And then we're like, no, this is the
fear just sets in.
Yeah.
She saw you as a target.
She looked at you walking by.
Yeah, I say a fun one.
Look at them glutes.
He's got some nice.
I could ride that for a while.
I'd like to peg that.
Terrible. Anyway, what'd you guys do this weekend? Did you guys do anything?
Swam.
That's it. Bro, you're taking this seriously.
Fucking A, I take everything.
So you really
seriously.
think you're going to beat Ben, huh?
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Are you
Ben caught wind and starting to talk a little shit.
Fucking bring it, guy.
Yeah.
Bring it. You better stay on your shit.
Did you tell him how long the race is going to be?
We're not even there yet. I think right now he thinks I'm just calling him out and being funny about it.
Yeah.
And so I know he's playing back. But I think after he sees me going for a while, that he's going to realize that I'm taking it very serious. Regardless if Ben races me or not, I'll call his ass out because you guys threw it at me, and I'm not afraid of him.
Wait, no, we didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, we didn't. You're the one that's like, I'm gonna beat Ben Greenfield.
No. Justin made a comment about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
I think
I said I'm not fucking scared. I said for sure I'm fucking. I didn't bring him into the.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Hold on. Did you tell him to race Ben Greenfield?
I think no.
Yes.
I think I brought up Ben as a name, and then we started talking and discussing it. Like if that was to happen, like
I didn't.
yeah,
I didn't
because he destroyed Kyle when I was up there.
Right.
Raced.
I didn't
even. Race.
I didn't throw his. I actually didn't even think about Ben as somebody to do that.
It felt so spur of the moment.
One of you two threw his name in his hat, and I said, "Fuck, I ain't fucking afraid of him for sure."
Yeah.
So I'll race his ass.
Yeah, I think yeah.
But no, there's nothing that has been established as far. I'll tell you right now, though, it's not. I would never do an endurance thing with him. I would not race him for distance. It's a sprint. It's like I would do a 25, 50 meter type of thing, maybe 100 at most. I wouldn't do something that's a 20-minute swim.
One lap is 25.
Smart. He's Mr. Ironman,
Yeah.
dude. He's no joke.
Yeah, no.
So what's your training?
Plus, I don't want to train like that. To beat him endurance wise, I would have to look like him. I don't want to look all skinny like that. No, fuck that, dude. It took me half my life to be like a muscular looking guy.
You have to start eating food like a bird.
Yeah,
Did you guys
on
that,
top of
dude.
couches and stuff?
Do you guys remember his bodybuilding picture he had in his office?
Yeah,
He was pretty jacked at one point.
No, he was.
He's got some genetics.
He's all right.
Bro, he does not train at all for building muscle, and he's got some muscle on him. I think he's got some.
He was lean. He's lean. He looks good. When you take somebody and they understand nutrition at the level that he does, you could make anybody look shredded and awesome that way.
Yeah.
But
Speaking of Ben, dude, so Lane did another top 5 worst offenders.
Yeah, he went after him.
And he went after so he did one for celebrity offenders, which in my opinion, I think he should have left it there. Pick one, go after him, and then have fun with it. But whatever, he picked fitness. And he put Greenfield on there, and I know why he did, but I don't think Ben is at all one of the bad guys in the fitness industry. Completely disagreed with that.
No, I think we all agree that I think Ben is I think he's a very honest, real, good person that is genuinely trying to bring good information to the fitness space.
And he doesn't pretend when he does his fringe stuff. He doesn't pretend like
he doesn't.
This is what everybody should do.
No,
or-
exactly. He doesn't sell it like he's used himself as an experiment. Like and what I love about him in comparison to everybody else that I've met that does anything like that is, like for example, like a Dave Asprey type of personality. Like Ben he takes care of all the big rocks. Like this dude is drilled down in his sleep. The guy meditates. The guy does hot cold contrast. The guy eats all organic.
Trains consistently.
Like
he hunts for his own food.
Yeah, he's done all the big things that I think we all agree really fucking matter in the overall health and fitness or health and wellness journey. And then from there, he's messing with all these fringe things, and he's sharing his whole journey as he does.
And a lot of it is about his own experience.
Right.
The other thing, too, is he has people on his show that talk about crazy shit, but it's just a platform. So it's not like he's saying, hey, here's a breatharian. This works. It's like, well, tell me what you think.
I'm sure he was just motivated because of his recent tweet about vaccines and how, like, and that's why he was like, I bet you he wouldn't have put him up there otherwise.
It's a lot of people, I think, in the comment section of his post.
Yeah,
were calling him out.
Exactly. He got voted as I don't blame Lane. Lane did what he was supposed to do. He put the post out there.
Yeah.
He took the ones that people all voted for as, and Ben, that's why I asked him in his last interview that we were with him about how he feels. And I thought he responded great when I talked about him being referred to as the pseudoscience guy. Mm-hmm. And you remember that? That was the last interview we did. I asked him straight up about that. And, I think Ben is presenting really good information. And I think that because it's kind of fringe stuff, who is going to do that? And if somebody's going to do that, that's the guy that I want to.
I do not consider him one of the shit butts of fitness. There's a lot of them out there. The ones that are making or causing a lot of damage. And I do not think he's one of those.
He could have gone way harder on some of those people that he just briefly kind of went over.
Well, he left out a lot of the fitness celebrity people that I think he should have. I think Ben Greenfield is going around the world spreading really good information for the most part. I think the fact that he targeted him was, but whatever. I mean, I think his audience called for that, and hey, it started great dialogue. I saw Ben get on there and he commented it back and was defending himself in regards to that, but this character that Lane is building is I don't know how long it can last. I don't know how long, and I know right now he claims that it's fun and he enjoys it and he loves doing what he's doing, but I think at one point it's going to take a toll of you engaging with all the, because he's definitely attracted. I don't know if you saw his story yesterday, but he shares sometimes like the DM battles that he goes back and forth with people. Mm-hmm. And he's got like this teenage guy, or it looks like a really young guy that is, calling him an idiot and going back. And Lane's like going back and forth.
He'll like engage with all these.
Yeah, he's engaging with him and he's sharing him a story. And it's like, dude,
too much, man.
Yeah. And then the kid even calls it out and says like, you're such an idiot. For a year I've been trolling you. You're so easy to get trolled. And Lane's like going back with him. I'm just like, that's just it. It's like, dude, how many of these like kids that are just trying to get your attention.
At the end of the day, they're winning.
Yeah,
the trolls.
Yeah, they don't deserve your time, dude.
Way too much airtime.
You're too smart to even be fucking with somebody like this. That's just they're behind a keyboard.
I think it creates constant content.
I think it's good to bring these things up, like intermittently. Like, let's talk about the biggest offenders, and then you just kind of leave it out there, and then you move on, and then bring it up again, down the road.
This is why I call him the Ricky Lake of fitness. You know what I'm saying? He's Ricky's the Maury Povich, or the fucking, what's the other guy, the late night guy?
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, Jerry Springer. You know what I'm saying?
He started that whole thing.
Fucking A, dude. I mean,
it got them hella fucking,
famous.
Views.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what he does. He chases the drama because it gets a lot of attention. And hey, if you want a Ricky Lake show, nothing against her or Maury Povich or Jerry Springer or whatever like that. I mean, they all made millions of dollars doing what they do. And if you want to be that guy, fucking no thanks, man.
Yeah, no
thanks.
I don't know if I would. So, Justin, you were just coaching all weekend? Was that the whole?
Yeah,
thing?
I was just coaching for the most part. We played. I got to hang out with my friends. We played poker one night, so that was cool.
When you do that, is it just the guys? You guys go to a house and do?
Yeah, it was just the guys. It was one of my friends. I used to from high school. We used to do this every now and then. We tried to do it like monthly, and that died off like quickly. Like one of my friends, he has like 4 kids now, and it's like we never see him, dude.
Forget that.
Yeah, number 4 is like no, like you're just not going to be available ever. Like it's just not going to happen. But yeah, we had some of the old crew there, and it's funny because like there were some Uncle Rico kind of moments where everybody brings up the same fucking like game and what everybody did with it, who fucked up. I'm like, dude, you guys still talking about this shit? It always like makes me laugh.
Damn, really that far back still, huh?
Yeah, there's just one or two guys that like they just
still
really,
live in the high school moments.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, but. To me, it's fun because it's just kind of nostalgic, but I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, I'm here just to talk shit and, throw cards around. So
now I have a buddy who's like kind of like stayed like that, but that's because he just really didn't do much more with his life. He kind of stayed around, and
if you peak at a particular time, I mean, you want to relive it. You know, and maybe your current life is maybe you find it boring or whatever, or not exciting, and so
everybody else finds it boring.
Yeah, so you want to bring up the times that
it actually led this friend to become like a pathological liar. I mean, he would, because of that, and because he wasn't when we were kids, totally normal. But as we all progressed, got older, moved on, and we all still stayed in contact, what ended up happening was if he wasn't telling high school stories, which we'd all heard a million times over, then he was embellishing other stories. And it started off with like little embellishments, then it just got crazier and crazier. I mean, just over the top.
Maybe just insecure.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm sure all that plays into causing someone to do that. But it's unfortunate because the rest of us that are all close friends, like, fuck, I don't give a fuck what you do with your life. We've already established we're friends and we love you like family. Like, there's no reason for you to make up stuff. But obviously he's still dealing with that, and that's their way of doing it.
This Quaz brought to you by Organifi. For those days you fall short on getting your organic veggies or whole food nutrition, Organifi fills the gap with laboratory-tested certified organic superfoods to help give your health and performance the added edge. Try Organifi totally risk-free for 60 days by going to Organifi.com. That's ORGANIFI.com. And use the coupon code MINDPUMP for 20% off at checkout. Our first question is from Connor Desmond. Should I train chest with upper cross syndrome?
This is a very good and common question.
Yeah.
So first, let's explain what upper cross syndrome is, and then explain why someone would even ask this question. So upper cross syndrome, for those of you who are not in personal training or understand the terminology, it basically describes a common posture issue that you find in modern societies, and it looks like your shoulders are kind of rolled forward, kind of rounded upper back, head tends to jut forward a little bit. It's that bad posture that you get if you sat at your desk all day long.
Everything is slouching forward.
Yeah, and it's a common one. I mean, I would say easily 8 or 9 out of 10 people that I assess when I was a trainer would have some form of upper cross syndrome, some worse than others. Now, part of when you have a posture deviation like this one, there are muscles that tend to be lengthened. There's muscles that tend to be shortened because of the posture. So with this type of posture, with the shoulders coming forward, one of the muscles that's shortened is the pecs, the chest, because my arms are rolled forward and my shoulders are rolled forward. The muscle of the pec it's just not as long, and so it gets a little tighter. And so some people will say, well, if you're trying to fix upper cross syndrome, you shouldn't work out your chest because your chest will just get tighter and it'll make the upper cross syndrome worse. Now, this is actually false. With proper chest training, you're actually going to increase your chest's range of motion. Muscles that are really, really tight because of inactivity are tight for a different reason than, let's say, getting tight because you built up big muscles and you have poor mobility. There's a different problem here. And these are tight and weak muscles. So the chest muscles here are just tight and weak. Now, what I would do with stretching with the chest is I might do some long static stretches before I work the back, just so I have a greater range of motion, just to kind of temporarily weaken the chest. But no, you shouldn't avoid working the chest. If anything, I think you should work it, but just work it in a good long range of motion so that you kind of increase that range of motion. You want to keep it healthy. It's pretty rare when I would have somebody not work out a muscle.
Well, there is, I think, you have to go a little bit deeper into what you kind of just glazed right over with the, somebody who has rounded shoulders. If you just tell them go do chest or still do chest, don't avoid chest. Most people are going to do it with poor mechanics, and they're going to exaggerate the problem even more.
Range of motion.
So if you're going to continue to lift chest, which I agree with you, you should, your mechanics and your form is crucial. It's you because your body will go to its default pattern. And this was me. This was me for many years of I didn't understand biomechanics. I didn't understand the proper way that my body needed to be positioned in order to work my chest and to not allow my shoulders to take over a movement. And so if you have excessive upper cross syndrome and you're working the chest out and you're not doing the prerequisites before you go into this lift, then yeah, it can be bad and it can make it worse. And so it's extremely important that you put the time. Again, shameless plug, but this is what Prime is designed for. This is why we designed this program, was because we know how important this is. We know that 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 people that we would assess would have either excessive upper cross syndrome or at least have somewhat of rounded shoulders or forward head. And so this is something that's crucial that almost everybody should be doing before they go into any of their lifting. And most certainly you should be addressing zone 1 in our program for somebody that's going to go do chest, because if you don't prime the back to retract the shoulders really well and you go in to do a bench press, then your body does fold forward and just kind of go its default.
Yeah, you have to do good form.
And then you shouldn't just go right into doing chest like a reps. Like, okay, you have your workout laid out, and I'm going to go right in and do bench press without the intent that, everything you've described with like setting yourself up mechanically for you to be able to get into the proper range of motion. And actually using a bar and weight may actually help you to be able to gain and achieve that range of motion by allowing that weight to kind of push you down into position. So this is like just a different mentality going into the lift, to where it's not necessarily about, like I'm trying to improve my performance and get, maximal load and keep like adding load. I'm trying to gain and achieve more ranges of motion with each rep and really like be intentional with the way that I do this.
Yeah, there's a lot of myths around resistance training. And one of the big ones is that lifting weights makes you tight, which is it's just not true. Now, if you are a lax individual, if you lack connection to your muscles and you're one of those people where you actually have instability because of your looseness and weakness, then in that context, in essence, weight training will tighten you up, but it's not because you're getting tighter, it's just because you're getting stronger. I think the myth really got its wings because for decades you had bodybuilders who just did bodybuilding training and they had terrible mobility. And when they would play sports, they would look awkward because none of them were athletes. They just lifted weights, which, by the way, you take anybody who doesn't play sports and you have them go play sport, they look awkward. Not just the bodybuilder, just a bigger looking awkward person. And so they got that myth that lifting weights makes things tighter. No, if you lift weights properly, you will increase your range of motion, your effective range of motion, the range of motion you have a connection to. I mean, the clients that I worked with, the average person that I worked with, through resistance training, we would improve ranges of motion in almost their entire body. Now, you're not going to become a contortionist by lifting weights, but you'll gain a very healthy amount of, again, effective
usable range of motion.
Yeah, an effective range of motion. Like if you practice your squats and you get to the point where you can, with good stability and with good form, get into a sit down into a low squat with stability and control. You've got now decent hip mobility, decent flexibility in the knees. If you do Romanian deadlifts with good stability, good control, and really work on the range of motion and you got good form, you're going to develop a good, effective range of motion in your hamstrings. A lot of exercises do this, for the chest, like flies. If you do flies properly, you're going to increase and improve your effective range of motion. So resistance training doesn't make that myth is just, it won't die. And I know people lift weights and then they feel kind of tighter, but again, what you're feeling is you're just stronger. Your body's more turned on. And if you're used to stretching in static, relaxed positions where you're just increasing range of motion but not increasing connected or effective range of motion, then yeah, you may notice that goes away a little bit, but it's just because you're just getting stronger within certain types of range of motion. But definitely when it comes to now, I think part of this also is that when you train someone with upper cross syndrome, part of your training is to try to loosen up the chest. But that comes from mobility work and static stretching. I would do at the beginning of an exercise for upper cross. So if I have someone doing a row and they're super, super tight, I may have them do a static stretch for their chest just to get it out of the way so we can, activate more of the mid back. But otherwise, definitely train the whole body unless there's a major injury.
Next question is from Freeman Axtell. What's your favorite piece of bro science?
That's great.
I like this question. This is actually cool. I'll give you one that I used a lot, especially when I was competing. Fasted cardio, which I like picking this one because I think it's something that's debated back and forth. Lane is notorious for debunking, fasted cardio in comparison to fed cardio later on in the day, and the theory is that when you're fed later on in the day, you'll be able to get after it much harder than what you would be able to fast it in the morning, and therefore
that makes up the difference.
It makes up the difference that is a little bit better by doing the morning. Now, my argument or my defense to the bro science or how it was so effective for me was if I did fasted cardio in the morning, it required that I get up an extra hour earlier than I would get up had I not done it. That extra hour that I was up earlier, I'm now moving where I would be sleeping and at rest. And that is what was so beneficial for me. So all during my competing journey, and I didn't start with this, but as I started to introduce cardio, this is one of the ways that I would introduce it. And I would literally just roll out of bed, throw my hoodie on and my headphones and go to the gym and sometimes outside depending on the weather. But normally go to the gym because I just liked being in there. And I would walk. I would walk on the treadmill for an hour. It's not, for me, it wasn't hard. I wasn't trying to elevate my heart rate. I don't want to push my body that hard when I'm not fed. I also don't want to be doing too much cardio because I don't want to send a signal to my body that's more advantageous to get rid of some of this muscle, especially if I'm not feeding it properly. So being fasted and then getting in the gym and moving an hour earlier than I would normally be showed a lot of benefits for me, and it actually helped me when I was getting lean for a show. So that is something I think that falls in the bro sciencey category. I just think that the benefits that like someone like Lane, who has dispelled that, hey, it's not that big of a difference. It's bro science, but there's something to be said about, disciplining yourself to spend an hour in the morning.
It's like all the side effects of it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So that was a great one for me.
Yeah. For me, there's a couple that I can think about. One of them is not eating late at night. That whole eat most of your calories during the day.
Don't eat past 6.
Don't eat past 6 p.m. Here's why I like that. Now, if you asked me this question 5 years ago even, I would say the time of day you eat doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference. It's all calories. It doesn't make a big difference. Well, science is starting to show that it might make a difference, actually, that the organs have a circadian rhythm, just like your eyes will help adjust your circadian rhythm based upon how much light they're exposed to. So if you're in a dark room, for example, your brain gets a signal from your eyes. The lack of light tells your brain, oh, the sun went down, and it starts to prepare your body for sleep. This is why wearing blue blocker glasses has been shown to increase melatonin production and improve people's sleep quality. Well, your organs also have a circadian rhythm. And if you eat food at night, your brain may perceive that the sun is out, and it may actually reduce some of that, the beneficial effects of sleep. And there's some studies that show that and they're not conclusive, but they are pretty fascinating, that if you control the factors, calories, macros, and everything, that you may actually get leaner and build more muscle by eating your food in a window, and that window being during the day. So which is kind of interesting. And the intermittent fasters use that science to say it's the fasting aspect of it. But there's been other studies that show that the time might actually make a difference. So that one was kind of fascinating. The other reason why it's an interesting one for me is that when people don't eat past, say, 6 p.m., they typically cut out extra food on top of it. So a side effect of that, believing that bro science, might just be that you eat less calories. You know what I'm saying? You're eliminating the late night snacks. You're eliminating sitting down at the TV.
Just
and eating
allowing
food.
like digestive system to really go through its full process.
Yeah, but I mean the side effect, like I said, I think a lot of times when people are like, oh, I'm not going to eat past 6, the reason why it's so effective for them, they eliminated extra food.
Along those lines, then if we're gonna stay on nutrition, then the eating the 6 meals a day thing, right? This was something I talked a lot about or defended when I was competing, and I see a lot of value in that when you are pushing the body to extremes. When you are trying to build more muscle on your body than your body really wants to have. And so the structure of having my meals spaced out all day long was the only way that I could hit the macronutrient targets that I needed to show over show, keep building and keep building and keep building, versus how I eat right now. How I eat right now, I don't eat 6 meals a day. I probably eat more like 2 or 3, maybe sometimes 4. And it's randomized. It's never structured because I'm not trying to make major moves with my physique. But when I am on a hardcore plan to either reduce body fat or to build muscle, the spreading out the meals was a great thing. Now
you ate a lot of calories too,
right? Yeah. So I mean, I got
5,000 or 4,000 calories in 2 or 3 meals.
You have to spread that out.
It's impossible. That's it. That's what I'm saying. So, and obviously 5,000 extreme, but even like 4,000 calories. That's 4,000 calories, which anybody who's
4 meal. That's 4 1,000 calorie meals.
Yeah, that's
So and that's I think the ultimate origin of that. And then of course the supplement industry and everybody took that and ran with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think the origin of it was these old school bodybuilders bulking, and they were trying to eat 5,000, 6,000 calories, and it only makes sense to eat a whole bunch of meals.
Yeah,
well, they also took advantage of the anabolic window where it created this
post-workout
hysteria. Yeah, post-workout being. I mean, I bought into that. Like after I worked out, if I didn't have a protein shake handy, it was like, well, I mean, it's basically a worthless workout.
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm not feeding my muscles what they need when they need it, and that was one of the big things. But again, there is some science in that direction in terms of like you being able to really like absorb and synthesize protein in a certain amount of time. But it was so exaggerated to where like we were so scared of like losing everything.
Yeah, no, they find that if you're going to work out again, you want to eat post-workout. Otherwise, your body replenishes things, and it doesn't really make a difference. But here's why I sometimes like the bro science of eating a post-workout meal. When you're working out, especially if you're lifting weights, I should say, because some forms of exercise are not like this, but when you're lifting weights, it's a very sympathetic act, right? You're in the gym, you're lifting heavy, you're pushing weight, you're sympathetic in the sense it's that fight or flight. You want to be amped when you lift weights. There's definitely ways you can lift weights where you're super relaxed and it's more meditative, and it's like what Paul Chek calls working in. But for the most part, when you lift weights, it's a sympathetic autonomic system. You're amped. You might even have had pre-workout or caffeine beforehand. You're lifting heavy. You're pushing your body. And that's the breakdown. That's when you're breaking things down. That's what sympathetic is: break things down, burn things up. It's fight or flight. Parasympathetic is the other side of the coin, where your body's recuperating and resting and digesting. So sleep is a classic parasympathetic. When you're sleeping, your body's trying to repair and rebuild. Post-workout, and this is one of the side effects of eating post-workout if you do it the right way. Post-workout, one of your goals should be to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic in a nice fashion. You want to now that you're done working out, you want to get out of that amped up, I'm trying to break things down, part of your system, and you want to go into the rest and repair part of your system. And food helps with that. But you got to do it the right way. So if you finish your workout, you're amped as fuck, and then you just fucking
slam a shake, that's not going to really put you in that state.
No, or slam your food real quick before you got to go, hang out with your buddies or go train a client or something. You're going to lose some of that. But if you treat it right, and after your workout, you sit down for 20, 30 minutes, relax, turn off the music, no distractions, no phone, just let yourself be quiet. Make sure you chew your food. You don't wash it down with your water because you're not trying to eat it in 5 seconds. And just enjoy yourself. That process of eating the food itself and the process of eating properly brings your body into more of a parasympathetic state. And let me tell you something, makes a difference.
Aids in recovery.
It actually makes a difference. I would have clients do this, and I did this myself. There was a big change. I remember when I was figuring out my gut issues, one of the things I was told was, hey, after you eat, after your workout, sit your ass down. Don't be on your phone or the computer. Turn off the music. Chew your food and allow yourself to eat slowly and relax. And I thought that was a silly thing. But when I did it, I noticed my gut health got better, and I noticed my digestion was better. And then after doing it after a while, I started to notice, oh, I'm kind of recovering better. And it makes a lot of sense. So there's another piece of bro science.
Yeah, they're all popping in my head now that we're finally talking about this. The other one that I really enjoyed, and I haven't utilized in a while, but carb cycling. Carb cycling is extremely popular in the bodybuilding bro world. And
in the athletic world too,
and the science behind it's been debated and argued exactly why it's so beneficial. But personally, the things that I liked, that it just taught me a lot about how the carbs affected my body, because I was so consistent for such a long period of time of, okay, I'm going to eat this many carbs on this day, this many carbs on that day, this many carbs on this day, then I'm going to start back over on here. And and when you've done that for weeks on weeks on weeks, and you're consistently training, it starts to reveal a lot of things about how much does my body need to go into a workout. Do I need 50 to 100 grams to get a really good workout, or does my body only really need about 50 to 75? And where do I get these massive pumps from, or where do I overdo it when I feed too many carbs in there? So just the tracking and the manipulating of the carbs in a structured fashion taught me a lot about my body and how it responds to these carbs, not only just how it responds performance-wise, but also how it looks differently based off of my carb intake and then also with the water and stuff. So that was
I love carb cycling. There's only a handful of clients that Jessica and I coach, and I almost always, not always because there's a lot of individual variants, but I almost always have them manipulate their carbohydrates throughout the week. And a lot of the reason, it's not because of some fat loss secret from the carbs or anything like that. You can make that argument. There's some science to support it, but that's not really why I do it. The reason why I do it is I think for the same reasons that you might have done it, Adam, is you notice how your body feels. You can pay attention to how foods, if you eat the same shit all the time, it's very difficult to identify what's making you feel a particular way. But if you cycle macros, and carbohydrates are an easy one to cycle because they're not essential. Like you could cycle fats and proteins, but those are essential macronutrients. You can cycle carbs and be okay. You can really see how it affects your body and how you feel. And it also more closely mimics, and this is the main reason why I do it with people, it more closely mimics real life. And so what I'm doing with people when I'm telling them to eat macros a particular way is I'm slowly getting to the point where they can get used to and manage how real life works, where sometimes I'm going to eat more of a particular macronutrient and more calories, and other times I'm going to eat less, and I want to know how I feel.
Well, if I was to approach it, now if I was to be in any athletic pursuit, I know for me, I've done it a few times where I've played in a basketball game, or I've actually I did this going into that reunion game that I played in for football, but to deprive myself of carbs, a few days before the actual event, and then also what the right amount of that carbohydrate intake was for me to feel like I was at my ultimate energy that I could pull from it. It was substantial, the difference that I felt when I did that, and I led up into the actual game day event. It was like rocket fuel. So it's just, it was a process of weeks figuring out what the right amount was. But if you can really do that in terms of stacking it up towards an event, it's very effective.
I've made every client carb cycle. It's part of the protocol. And it's not that you have to stay on a carb cycling diet with me. It's I for these exact reasons we're talking about right now, I like to teach it. So those are all really good. Those are all bro sciencey things that I think have turned into an argument on is the science
myth, myth.
Right.
I think a lot of times the problem is that you have a lot of anecdote of what works, and then what happens is people try to explain while something works, and that's why they fuck up. But it doesn't fuck up the fact that it actually works.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Here's a great example. I'll close off with this because I think this is a great example. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, a lot of wellness practitioners, people who really studied and focused on overall wellness, which today now we know what that means, but back then it kind of sounded crazy, would talk about something called adrenal fatigue. And adrenal fatigue was just a name that they give a list of symptoms that they were seeing in people. Excess fatigue, inability to acclimate to different types of temperatures, what seemed like hormonal imbalances, like there's a whole list. If you were to Google adrenal fatigue, you see this whole list of stuff. Now, the medical community hammered on them because these practitioners were saying, oh, you have all these symptoms. We think it's adrenal fatigue. We think your adrenals are getting fatigued. That's not what was happening. But the symptoms and the treatment was actually working very well. Now, what we call it is HPA axis dysfunction, just a dysfunction between the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and the adrenals. So it's not the adrenals were getting fatigued, because then what they would do is they'd go get tested, and their doctor would be like, no, your adrenals are producing plenty of hormones and cortisol, whatever. But it was when they were producing it and all the other hormones and the relationship to each other, that was what was important. So I just think that the bro sciences, they're trying to explain it like, oh, you know why small meals works for me? Because eating protein throughout the day speeds up my metabolism and my body needs protein. It's like, no, that's wrong. Right. But bro science might work for you because it's fucking hard to eat 6,000 calories in 3 meals.
It's
so
a calorie thing.
Maybe that's why.
You're
right?
getting it in.
Next question is from _CM. What do you guys think about Sweet Sweat or any type of thermogenic body cream?
God, do you guys know how
This
long?
still exists?
You know what's funny?
Fuck.
I'm getting questions on Sweet Sweat today, and that shit has been around forever.
Yeah.
That stuff was, I remember the ads in old bodybuilding magazines that were even before my time, because I used to buy, if I could find an old bodybuilding magazine from the 80s, I'd fucking snatch it up when I was a kid. And you'd open the back, and it would be an ad for Sweet Sweat. And part of the reason why I remember these ads is because it was always a incredibly attractive woman,
Of course.
and it would show her butt half the time. So I was like, oh, that's great.
Oh, interesting.
So I remember that, and the whole
This must work.
the whole premise of it was you rub this cream on your body, and it increases the amount that you sweat depending on where you rubbed it, and that meant that you burnt more body fat from the targeted area. This is how they would actually
know that sweat equals burning body fat.
exactly.
Oh, I didn't even know this stuff still exists.
Do you guys remember these old ads?
Yeah, but I thought this died a long time ago.
No.
So does it burn like like those old balms like Tiger Balm and Ben Gay and stuff like that you just rub on yourself and it's like smells like a fucking medicine cabinet?
Can you read what's in it, Doug? I mean, what are they using that actually may have some sort of
Well,
result?
let's look at the ingredients.
Like niacin in it or something?
No.
What does it have in it?
Let's look at the ingredients. So he's gonna scroll. So it's hold on.
White snow. The fuck is that?
Well, kids can't do it.
Cocaine?
No. Hold on.
White
a second.
snow.
Hold on.
Sprinkle some white snow.
No. This
It's in the
Yeah,
system.
no shit. You rub some cocaine or acid all over your skin, it'll make you sweat.
Now
Okay.
Cokehead cream.
No, you guys got it. Okay, so this is what I thought. So first of all, I have a particular disdain for this shitty product. Okay, because it's the false promises that this product made back in the day are fucking silly, and the reason why it's back is because they're effectively using Instagram now. They're using social media.
They're using that in the fucking squeam and corset to
It's
go with
stupid. So here's one of the reasons why I can't stand them. Okay, the first ingredient in there is, ready for this, white snow petroleum. Do you know what that means? It's fucking petroleum.
Yeah.
You know why they put white snow in front of it?
So it doesn't sound like
So it sounds fucking cool. You know what the second ingredient is?
It's oil.
The second ingredient is Brazilian carnauba wax. Do you know what that is? It's wax.
Wax.
But of course it's Brazilian, so it's different.
I mean, it's exotic.
Here's what it does, okay?
Is it a Psy pulp?
It's bullshit. Coconut oil. Here's what it does.
Rubbing shit on
When
them.
you do this with Vaseline, rub this on your skin.
Yeah.
It traps heat there and makes your body think it needs to sweat more, and so you sweat more.
Yeah, you could
because
just do that with Vaseline.
This used to be an old school trick also, would be to rub Vaseline all over your body and then wrap saran wrap around you.
yeah, wrestlers used to do it to make weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Yes.
makes you sweat. Yeah,
So
lose water.
So here's what it says, right? It says targets slow to respond problem areas. I like how they're vague there so they can get away with it. People think, oh, it helps me burn body fat. No, it doesn't. Helps fight against shin splints, muscle pulls, and strains. I'm not sure how. Maybe
Shin splints?
because it warms up the body.
Yeah.
Clean scent. Obviously, doesn't have any smell because it's fucking Vaseline, which doesn't smell anything. No, this does nothing for you but make you sweat more in a particular area. Now, are there benefits to sweating more? When you go in a sauna, I don't know about. I mean, you'd have to rub your entire body down with this, and then maybe see some benefits. But
right, like increasing your core temperature.
yeah, this does nothing.
Have you guys seen this on Instagram? Is it like a thing going around?
It's growing now because of that.
What?
Homegirl promotes it.
Somebody we know?
The one with the fake butt that you've mentioned
Oh,
before.
stop it! What's her face is promoting this?
Paige
Hathaway?
Yeah.
Is she? Is it Sweet Sweat that she's promoting?
Yeah.
Get
That's
outta
why
here.
You saw Lane's Offenders. This was one of them.
Oh,
So
that might be why it's getting.
that's probably why it's getting some buzz.
Yeah, no, nothing you can rub on your skin will burn body fat from that area. First off, if you rub something in your skin and it absorbs into your body, it becomes a systemic thing. It just goes into your body. So it's not going directly into that area. In order to penetrate and get to the fat, you'd have to really go, pretty deep or whatever. So no, nothing burns body fat that way. It'll make you sweat more. So if you want to sweat more in a particular area, that might help. There may be some temporary effects that people will get when they will rub stuff on like this, and then they'll wrap it. You ever see those wraps that some like women will do? And they'll notice that everything's smaller. That's a very, very temporary effect. It does nothing to accelerate fat loss. There's literally nothing you can rub on your body that can accelerate your progress. Now, you brought up something like Tiger Balm and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, those work at alleviating pain because they send a competing signal to the brain, and so it kind of confuses your pain signal. So when I rub, Ben Gay or something on my elbow, the whatever's in there,
the noxious fumes too, like that, it comes off.
it's not the fumes. It does something to the sensors of the skin, and it tricks your body into thinking it's cold or hot, and then that becomes a competing signal with the pain that you feel. And so, in essence, it doesn't take care of the pain.
It's like rerouting the signal.
You perceive the pain as being less painful, if that makes any sense. But Sweet Sweat doesn't do that either. It's just literally...
It's just Vaseline.
It's literally you're rubbing it on, and then it makes you sweat more. And this shit's been around. I think Sweet Sweat originally started in the 80s or maybe even the 70s, and now it's
I saw him at
rounds.
the Fit Expo, and I was like, what is this? And it's all just... I thought it was just like a rebrand of some old shit that was out there. Yeah.
It is. And you're going to see it continue to cycle because it's an easy thing to sell.
Yeah.
Here, rub this on this area, makes you sweat.
Rub that, put some stem on it, like give me all the shortcuts, man.
And if you try this, if you're like a consumer that's not very informed, and you try this out, and then you're going to be like, it does work. I did sweat a lot.
For one day.
On my legs because I put it on my legs, or I did sweat a lot on the back of my arms because I put it on the back of my arms, and you're going to feel like it's actually working when it's doing absolutely nothing for you. If you put something like this over your whole body and you work out, you actually run the risk of overheating because your body thing. If you want to sweat, go in the sauna. That's my advice. This stuff is a waste of money.
All right, our next question is from Polly K93. So here's a scenario. You three are in a Hunger Games style fight to the death.
Oh, man.
What are your strengths and weaknesses? And most importantly, who wins?
I think it's obvious I win, but I don't know what...
Dude, you would...
Is it obvious?
100% get last place.
Yeah.
What?
100%.
You're a big target.
You're
dude.
you're the most bougie person in this room.
You're gonna break an ankle like somewhere.
No way you would live in the jungle
pounce.
with no bed, no fucking comfortable AC, no nothing, sleeping on the dirt.
Yeah,
and
this
shit.
is like the jungle.
You
Like,
would
have
kill
to
yourself.
Survive.
You would murder yourself.
All of that being true.
Like,
all of that being true.
I can't handle it.
My competitive spirit trumps all.
That's exactly right.
I know you're gonna say that.
My competitive spirit would trump all that shit. I want to win so bad, dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. That's definitely one of your weaknesses.
Yeah, for sure.
Bougie.
For sure. My weakness is I don't do well sleeping on the ground.
Yeah.
So that would be tough for me.
I would say Justin has a strength. He's got more stored energy, so he could survive without
I
food.
do. I could hide out, and I'm good at living in the woods.
You can go the furthest without eating.
These are two big factors.
Yeah, but that same thing too also slows him down.
Maybe.
initially.
So if we have to get from, like in Hunger Games, we have to get from one area to another area, which is miles away.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to stop, and there's not a lot of cheese.
See, I feel like
a lot of cheese farms.
Well, I
on
was
the
just gonna
fucking
say,
Hunger Games.
I'll get like I might have like hunger groans.
That's I
Reveal myself.
I feel like I could trick Justin. I feel like I could get like some cheese and make a trap. and just leave it, you know, and then
that
you'll-
would be
Sal, your
would be
weakness is
tempting.
you would try to be too analytical and overthink things. Justin and I just come in and kill
yeah,
you.
he's sitting there drawing a plan,
Yeah.
and I just stab him.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
He'd be trying to science it.
He's
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
yeah, he's
It's
got
like,
the stick. It's all trying to work it out
just
on the
get
beach.
clubbed over the head
You
for
know?
me.
Yeah, I just shoot an arrow right in his head.
No, I don't think so. I think I would do such a good job of convincing you guys to kill each other that I would be.
You would rely on
I'd
that.
I'd go up to one of you guys and be like, Justin, listen, we're gonna
You would
partner up.
rely on manipulation,
Yeah,
huh?
like we're gonna partner up. We're gonna kill Adam, and then I go to Adam. Adam, we're gonna partner up. We're gonna kill Justin, and then I'd let you
He's like,
guys.
listen, guys, we got to work together and overthrow the system.
And then
he
while
kills us.
you're fighting, you know, whoever wins, the other guy's going to be injured, and then I'm going to run in and take
What
advantage.
if, but what if other people get introduced, like in the Hunger Games, they just start like bringing people in?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like, we might band together at that point.
We would probably. I would hate to do that shit, man. Have you ever watched those shows on Discovery where they throw people out in the wilderness
Yeah.
and they're naked?
Naked and Afraid?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, what always gets them is the bugs.
Oh,
You can't account for the bugs. Like eating, like these little bugs eating you all night long and not having sleep is like,
that's my
that's
weakness.
torture.
That'd be my weakness.
Yeah, I watched the whole season of is it called Alone? Alone. What's the one that it's on the I think it's over in either in Canada or Alaska. I forget where they're at, but it's like right on the coast. They drop them off and it's there's bears out there and all kinds of wildlife that's dangerous, and there's nothing out there, and they don't get anything. I think they get like 2 tools. They get like a hammer and some shit, like a little, and then the rest they have to figure it out. And it's who can last on the island the longest. And the things that you see actually get a lot of people is just flat out weather and hunger. You know, so most people,
Cold, lack of sleep, you just lose your mind.
Yeah, most people just cannot handle. Yeah, it is Alone.
In Mongolia,
So yeah, they bounce around.
Mongolia.
They go to
Oh,
different
man.
places.
fuck
That would be gnarly.
You know what you learn?
The first season was actually it was really good because they don't what they do is they put you on separate parts of the island, and they don't tell you when somebody goes off. So you're competing.
So you could have won in a week, but you're like you have no idea.
No. As soon as you win, you know. But
okay.
it could be down to you. Like there was 10 of us. It could be down to you and I. And I don't know. It's just you and I. I think it's still 10 of us still left on the island.
That is the psychological motherfucker.
Right, that's
there.
what gets you. Like, because
Yeah.
if you think about that, if you know that you've made it all the way to the last guy, outlasting the last guy is a lot easier than going like, "Fuck, I've been on here for 30 days." And
Dude, that brings a whole new like amount of energy. If you know like a couple people have dropped off, you know it's just you versus like 1-2 other people. Like I'm like, oh, I'm staying in this.
Yeah, but
I-
they don't.
I
they don't
need
give
that.
They
They
don't,
don't
pay
give 'em
enough
that.
money. Fuck
Yeah,
no, they don't give enough
forget
money
it.
for this shit,
I think they only get like $1 million. That's it.
bro. You figure out
After taxes, fucking $500,000 for that shit. Fuck that, bro.
You're not gonna live in California with that. So
Fuck yeah,
go to
right.
Kansas.
You
know?
do something like that, you learn real quick how fucking unforgiving and crazy real natural life
like
is.
nature will fuck you.
Yeah, we're so spoiled and we think we're so whatever. Like we have no idea. Like the nature of mankind is grinding, difficulty, and poverty. That's the nature of it. We have. It's crazy that society, how organized it is. It's insane if you really think about it, because that shit right there, that's real life.
I want to take everybody that argues on Twitter all day and just do this to them. You know,
Put them out there. And
yeah,
be like,
like, go figure it out.
let's see how long.
See
you can
how
last.
see how long you're gonna be angry. You know,
Yeah.
with everybody.
Well, you know, I looked this up one time. The longest because one of the problems is food, right? And none of us in this room know how to get food in the wilderness. We think we do, but we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I know, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. The longest that somebody
squirrels.
fasted for, do you guys know what the record was? No food at all?
40 days and 40 nights.
No.
100
Over a year.
over a year.
A severely
he was super
obese.
I heard about
yeah,
this.
a super obese guy
He's ate himself.
didn't eat for a full year and had no ill effects. Drank water, everything like that.
No shit, I've never heard of this.
Uh-huh. He lasted, I think it's a year or almost a year.
Doesn't that
without any
defy
food.
like every obesity clinic's doctors managing the thing? Like they tell like that's like they think they're going to go to cardiac arrest if they try and do something like that.
I don't think I'm pretty sure it's not recommended
Right.
That people do that. But
That's
That's
fascinating.
crazy though. Like
Yeah.
that sounds so dangerous. Like,
yeah, well,
for
you
them
have
to
that
do
much stored energy, you
Yeah.
know. But I don't recommend. I mean, please don't try anything crazy like that. But yeah, that's the longest recorded.
Yeah, that's insane.
So you take someone like that big, you put them on hunger styles. All they got to do is find water and hide, and just outlast
Well,
everybody.
that's kind of how I feel about those game shows.
you
Like,
could
when I
hide.
look at them, like always the little brittle, skinny looking guys never making it. It's like, dude, you just don't have enough stored energy. Like that would be advantageous
Yeah.
for sure in a show like
And
that.
they expend it too much, like
Yeah.
too soon.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that all the time. You get this big guy on there that's like all macho about nah, I'll be fine. I don't need a fire tonight, and then he's just
yeah.
I want to go home.
Or think about this: like if you don't know how to hunt or catch food efficiently, you could very well burn more calories than you consume with the food
No,
that you kill.
that's what happens on this show. What ends up
like
happening?
you're fighting so hard.
A lot
for
of these
little
guys
fish,
are trying to, and you don't know where you're at. So like, you don't know where the fishing holes are. Like you go out to the water and hope to God that you picked an area where there is fish. But a lot of these guys, and they don't give them a pole. They have to make it. So try making a fishing line, hook, and pole from shit that's out in the forest, and then also finding a place where a fish would even consider biting. Oh man, dude, so a lot of these dudes couldn't even get the real food like a fish or a squirrel or a fucking rabbit. They're eating bugs.
Like shrubs or grubs or whatever.
Yeah, they're living off of bugs and miner's lettuce and shit like that, dude. They're not.
That's
even
the original paleo diet, by the way.
Right.
People are like, I like to eat like a Paleolithic man. It makes me healthy.
You like maggots?
Yeah. Do you?
Huh?
When's the
You're
last
real
time?
paleo?
When's the last time you ate a cockroach?
Yeah, exactly.
When's the last time you ate your dead friend? Because that's what they did back then.
That is true paleo.
Yeah, that's it. Look, if you go to mindpumpfree.com, you can download any of our guides for free. We have a ton of them there, and they all cost nothing. Also, if you want to know more about your favorite Mind Pump hosts, you can find our own social media pages on Instagram. So you can find Justin at Mind Pump Justin. My page is Mind Pump Sal, and Adam is Mind Pump Adam.
Thank you for listening to Mind Pump. If your goal is to build and shape your body, dramatically improve your health and energy, and maximize your overall performance, check out our discounted RGB Super Bundle at mindpumpmedia.com. The RGB Super Bundle includes MAPS Anabolic, MAPS Performance, and MAPS Aesthetic. 9 months of phased expert exercise programming designed by Sal, Adam, and Justin to systematically transform the way your body looks, feels, and performs. With detailed workout blueprints and over 200 videos, the RGB Super Bundle is like having Sal, Adam, and Justin as your own personal trainers, but at a fraction of the price. The RGB Super Bundle has a full 30-day money-back guarantee, and you can get it now plus other valuable free resources at mindpumpmedia.com. If you enjoy this show, please share the love by leaving us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes and by introducing Mind Pump to your friends and family. We thank you for your support, and until next time, this is Mind Pump.